Hey y'all, and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. Today we're actually going to be doing a pretty large house. This is actually going to be a multi-part series. I think there will be 2 other parts after this. The other 2 will probably come out next week. But anyways, yeah, like I said before in one of my last videos, I've been really into the mid-century thing recently, so I decided to keep going with that. So this is kind of like a retro, like, Hollywood Hills type home. It was like kind of very loosely inspired by Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and that's where the idea came from. Other than that, this house has really no similarities to that house in that movie. But anyways, I was actually really excited to get to do a mid-century house, but also a house this big, because I've been having fun just building The Sims recently, because I'm aware that I have school coming up next week, actually. When this goes out, I think, actually when this goes out will be the weekend before school starts. So anyways, I've been trying to like enjoy building before I have to go back and I get really busy. And I've also been pre-recording a little bit because I don't know what my schedule is going to be like when school starts. So I'm kind of waiting to figure that out. But anyway, speaking of school and stuff, I think when this video goes out will be the day I'm actually driving out to get my keys to my apartment that I won't even be using because all of my classes are online this semester, so that's awesome. Because unless I can find someone to sublet it to, we have to keep paying for it even though I won't be staying there, so that's great. But anyways, it is what it is, and but I do have to drive out there and get the keys, so I get to drive 6 hours out there, grab a pair or a set of keys, and then drive 6 hours back all in one day. So that'll be a fun trip. But yeah, I'm also gonna start trying to go up to 2 videos a week. I've been doing 1 because I've just been kind of like figuring this out as I go, and I didn't really know how any of this worked, but I've at least got the speed build thing down for the most part, I think. So I'm going to try and go up to 2 videos a week, but like I said, I don't know what my schedule will be like when school starts, so I'm going to try and stick to Tuesday, Saturday, but I guess that may change depending on how school's going. But I have been like pre-recording a few videos just to make sure I do have something for at least the first couple of weeks while I get stuff figured out. But yeah, so anyways, like I said, this house is a mid-century kind of mansion. This is actually a really big house. I mean, it doesn't have many bedrooms or bathrooms, I think. I think it only came out having maybe 5 bedrooms and I think 4 bathrooms, I think. But like the rooms are all just really big, and it also has like a bunch of extra rooms like the library and the game room and stuff. But I thought it ended up turning out pretty well. It took a while, so I think this video will just mainly be like building. I did throw down a little bit of furniture over there, you can see, but that was just kind of for spacing. I'm gonna change that when I start doing the furnishing, but I think next week will be like the 2 videos will be more focused on the furnishing and the landscaping and stuff. This is mainly just the build. But yeah, you get to sit here and watch me try and figure this out. The floor plan was kind of a hard thing to figure out because I didn't really have a plan going in. I was just kind of winging it and trying to get things to fit in. And I also wanted to use the closets because we've had those closets since the game came out, really, basically, because they were with Get Together, which came out not too long after the game came out. But I always forget to put them in, but I remembered in this house, so we have those, which is nice. But yeah, so I don't think this house is, well, this house probably isn't very practical if you actually want to play like the game, because I think it ended up being like $300-something thousand, and it's huge, and it like wouldn't make any sense to play in for what it is, because it's not like it has a whole lot more to do than like any cheaper house. But I thought it ended up looking pretty good. You'll see later on when I finally get everything figured out. I think it should be not too much longer. I'm going to start trying to do the roof, which was awkward because I knew I wanted to have the diagonals, just because I wanted to try and do something a little bit different, and I also wanted to have a bunch of rooms facing like the view, because that was one of the reasons I wanted to build a lot up here, was so that I could like use the views and stuff. But yeah, it ends up taking me a little bit to figure out, but I do get it in the end. But you'll see me struggle for a little while because I didn't know what I was doing, and walls like this weren't lining up, so I had to change a bunch of stuff, which was great. And then I had like diagonals that weren't lining up right, and so that was awesome. But yeah, I'm getting that figured out, and then I also still have to figure out the front porch because I kind of just threw something down, but I think that ends up changing quite a bit because the roof wasn't going to work like it was just then. But we'll get to that later. But the roof, I actually think when I got done with it, actually ended up working out better than I expected. I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but I thought it ended up looking pretty good. There's a few spots where it's kind of awkward, but I mean, I didn't think it was too bad, and the rest of the house looks okay. I also wish, because I use those get-together columns, because I use those for pretty much every house, I think, like most people do, because they're just like small, simple columns. But I do wish that you could turn columns on diagonals, because you can't, and that one in the back was really annoying because it wasn't on diagonal, even though the rest of the house over there was. So that was kind of frustrating, but I didn't think it looked too bad, and I wasn't gonna like delete that roof because I thought it made the back of the house look better. But yeah, I also tried to use a bunch of like those wall decoration things, like the wooden slats that came with Eco Lifestyle, I think, in the front, just because I figured, I mean, in any house, you would probably want privacy on the front so people aren't just looking in your house, but I mean, especially if you were like a celebrity or something here, you would probably want some privacy up front, so I tried to do that. I also got a lot of use out of those big sliding glass doors from Eco Lifestyle. I think I used all 3 sizes of those, mainly just because like they suited the style of house really well, but also those are just my favorite like object that we've gotten in the game recently, and I don't know why. They're just really useful, and I can use them in a bunch of different houses. So I wanted to use a bunch of those, and so I thought that ended up looking pretty good. I think every major room, I'm pretty sure, except for the living room, has a door out to the back. But it's connected to the dining room, so I figured that wasn't too big a deal. But yeah, I'm just going through here trying to figure out the porch because I didn't know how this was gonna go. But I get it figured out eventually. I was trying to like put a roof over the porch, but I think I just ended up going with a pergola in the end because that was gonna work better. I also had to like keep fiddling with these roofs right here because the one in the front and the back weren't lining up right. They were like a half tile off on the diagonal, so they couldn't intersect, so I kept having to like try and scoot them just far enough to where they were still in the main roof, but they weren't intersecting each other. But I eventually got it figured out. And then I had this one. But yeah, I think I'm about to realize that I need to do like just a pergola or something here because the roof was going to be way too complicated to figure out right there, and it probably wasn't going to end up looking good. So I started with that, and then I didn't want to have the half wall, and then I just went to like that fence, and then I think that part right there where those windows and that chimney are also ends up changing just because like the roof and the chimney were like on the same row, and so they had to be the same wall texture, otherwise it wouldn't look right. So I ended up having to change that because that was kind of getting on my nerves. But I did get it figured out, and then just going through putting a bunch more windows on the back, and then there's 2 of those big doors in the master bedroom, and then this that room back there on the far right at the very back was originally going to be a bedroom, and I mean it still could be if you wanted it to be, but I think I ended up turning it into a gym, just because it was such a big room, and I already furnished like 4 other bedrooms at that point. I didn't feel like doing another one, so I just decided not to. And then this thing has a huge deck on the back of it, which I think I may have laid out like a little bit awkwardly, like the outdoor kitchen's over there by the master bedroom, which I don't know why it would be over there, but that's the only place it fit. But overall, I think it ended up turning out pretty well. It at least looks good. I don't know how practical it would be in real life, but it's aesthetically pleasing, which is what I was going for. And then I used a bunch of these windows from Realm of Magic, because they're just nice plain windows. but like the default placement of them is either too low or like it's at the top, and like the frame of the window kind of intersects the ceiling if you're looking at it from inside, which gets on my nerves. So I had to go through and raise all of those windows up, which was a little bit annoying, but I thought it ended up looking better in the end. So it wasn't too bad. They also like have that weird little like side light bit on the diagonal, just so they're like wider so they fit the diagonal walls better. I kind of wish like they didn't have like those two extra dividers in them, because I thought it would have looked better without them, but I decided to keep them because there wasn't really another window I could think to use right there. And then just going through placing the doors, I think I also ended up realizing I forgot to have like a guest bathroom, so that the bathroom next to the office, which was originally just an ensuite, is like an ensuite, and it has a door to the hallway too, so that would be like the guest bath in this house. And then I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to do the library, because I originally wanted to have it where there were like some bookshelves that were dividing it, like just dividing the space, because like I had seen a bunch of that in like older houses, like where they would have like walls of shelves that were like just separating the space, but there weren't any like ones that like really fit, because I wanted one that was like floor to ceiling and was open on both sides, but we don't really have anything like that, and the ones that are floor to ceiling weren't really suiting the style of the house, so I ended up just going with these dividers from Vintage Glamour, I think. I usually forget about those, but they went in this house really well, and they go all the way to the ceiling, so I didn't have to do anything with them, which was nice. And then just going, I also had this bathroom. I like really liked those counters just because the end piece is that diagonal, and it like lined up really nice with that door, but I didn't end up using them. I just don't like those counters very much because they look kind of fake and plasticky because they don't have any texture on them at all, so I didn't end up using them, but I thought it would have been nice too, just for that little diagonal piece they have. But yeah, just going through, putting the trim down. And then I think it also takes me a while to figure out the wallpaper on this house, just because there were so many parts to it. Like I ended up using like 3 or 4 different textures, I think, on the outside. I was also trying to figure out the flooring. I think I ended up going with this one just in like the darker brown color, yeah. But yeah, and then just going through, I had a bunch of like planners in this house just because I wanted like, I didn't want there to be a bunch of flat walls on the front, so like those floor to ceiling windows, I usually had like a built-in planner in front of them just so it added something else. And then I use those wood floors. Those are like my favorite wood floors from Jungle Adventure. So I got to use those. And then I have like this awkward little spot right here. I didn't want to have more windows because there were already those 2 big doors into the master bedroom, and I wanted to have like a few solid walls just so there would be somewhere to put furniture and stuff. So I didn't want to have windows here, but I didn't really know what to do with this. I think I end up going with like maybe that fountain thing from Spa Day, but I think it takes me a while to figure that out. I was trying to do a bunch of stuff with plants that wasn't really working. But I did get it figured out eventually, which is good. But yeah. Like I was saying at the beginning of this video, I've been really into the mid-century thing recently. This is actually one of the more different ones I've done, because this one's like, I think the interior design's like a little nicer. Like, I think it actually looks good. Like, I wouldn't mind living in this house. The other ones I've been trying to do like, houses that were like accurate to their time period. So like, it's mostly been like the 70s and 80s, and so it's a bunch of really bad interior design. So it was nice to do something that like at least looked good for this house. I've also been doing a bunch of 90s stuff, but like I've been kind of doing like a very stereotypical 90s thing where everything in the house is just beige, and so I mean, it's been fun just matching everything and making things purposefully look bad, but I mean, it was nice to do something that actually looked good in a house. But yeah, and then like I said, this is this is one of the bigger houses I've done in a while. I usually don't build big houses like this just because I like building them. I just don't like furnishing them. Just because there's so much space, and like if there's a bunch of bedrooms and bathrooms, it gets kind of repetitive after a while, and I kind of get bored of it and then leave it. So the next few houses I think I built 2 smaller houses, and then I also have a couple of renovations that are going to be coming up on this channel soon. I just thought that was fun. I wanted to like do something a little bit different, and I wanted to have like some kind of parameter set, so I figured doing some like just renovating a house that was already in the game would be fun. So I did I think I renovated a couple of the starter homes, which I think ended up turning out okay. But yeah, I've also been trying, this is like one of the last houses I think I'm gonna that I did in a little while that have just been like a free-for-all basically. I've been trying, at least for the houses that I'm uploading on here, to like limit my packs a little bit just so more people can download them, because I assume most people probably don't have all the packs, and I want to like make it so that like if you actually like this house, you could download it. I mean, not this one specifically, because this uses, if not all the packs, just about all of them, but the other houses I tried to limit it at least a little bit. I think I did a couple in there that were just base game, so anyone should be able to download those. But yeah, I'm just going through figuring out the wallpaper. I think yeah, like this front part right here where the chimney is, I'm gonna end up changing this all in a second. I also had to change it just because like I was trying to do that trick with the chimney, but like because it was under a roof, it was like had that weird shadow on it, so I ended up just fixing all of this. I got rid of that planter right there, and then extended the pergola, and then that floor tile down there does not light up right now, but I fixed that because I didn't notice it at first, but that would have been annoying if you had downloaded it with that. But I got it fixed, and so I think it ended up looking better for it. But yeah, I think we're coming up on the end of this, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut off. So I'll see you all next week. Bye everyone.